All right, welcome to DFS Time with Clinton and Wil. We are your hosts of a new show here. This should be a weekly show. Just going to run you through some DFS lineups on all the websites, the main websites that we have here, DraftKings, FanDuel. And we're going to check out a new one called OwnersBox. And then we'll close out with some rapid fire on some underdog pick'ems. I'm Clinton, writer with IDP Guys at Twitter at Clinton Holmgren. I'm going to kick it over to Wil here, and he's going to tell you what he's up to these days.
Clint, what's going on, man? Really happy for the show, man. We finally got off the ground, first one. So obviously it's going to be the first of many, man, looking to get that value, not only for the listeners and the viewers, but for ourselves, man, trying to cash out as well, So we put out these picks. We're going to be putting out these picks, man. It's not only for them, but it's for us as well. Yeah. So I could be found on Twitter at @biasedopinions_. Do a lot of different things, man, but they definitely catch me on Twitter, see what I'm up to, obviously, tonight. First day of college NBA basketball, so getting started into that, man. So real big into sports in general, NFL, college football, NBA. Got some college basketball as well starting up soon, man. So yeah, check me out there on Twitter at @biasedopinions_.
And then you do some basketball work too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do some basketball work for Sports Gambling Podcast. I just started doing that. That's pretty fun. Going to be doing some DFS stuff for them throughout the season. So catch me on there. It's the main slate tonight, man. Got 11 games, so I'm sweating a couple of these games. We just got one game about to go into overtime. So we'll see how that turns out, man. But it's definitely going to be good, man. But let's jump into it, man. We got some NFL DFS slates to talk about. Not only, like you said, not only on FanDuel, but DraftKings and some other platforms as well.
That's right. And first of all, it's a rough week. There's so many teams not playing this week and so many injuries. It's almost tough to come up with a lineup. But we're going to jump into FanDuel here. I'll share my screen. Here's a lineup that I put in. Wil and I are just going to go over it with you guys. See what we like, what we might not like. Let's get the screen up here. All right, cool. All right, quarterback. I'm just going to jump into the edit here because if we change anything, this is just a regular Sunday slate contest. Right now, quarterback, we got Matt Ryan. I think he's got a really good week. He's got a good value. He's got some targets coming back. Ridley should be back this week. I found Pitts just before the bye. That London game was throwing him the ball a lot. I don't know. What do you think of that? What other options around? Mahomes is kind of expensive. Tennessee's a bad defense. You could put him in there. What are you thinking?
So no, I think I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is pretty decent in fantasy. Not so good in real life football, but he's doing his thing in fantasy, and he's going to get you like 20, 25 plus points every single week in and week out. So I think he's going to be able to do that this week, and he's not as expensive as the other ones. Obviously, we know the Mahomes and the Kyler Murrays and Lamar Jackson. Obviously, the ones that are above him are going to do his thing, are going to do their thing, and obviously produce some points. But with Jalen Hurts, you just got to go. Another one that may be interesting, it's going to be Matthew Stafford, man. I mean, just going up against his old team. I know he's going to want to stick it to them, obviously, for all those years of turmoil out there in Detroit. But and he's also somebody that could definitely put up some points. And unfortunately, man, I'm gonna have to probably go with Sam Darnold going up against my New York Football Giants. That's he's at a pretty good value, and it just seems that if you look at just the game last week, the Rams were able to get some things going with the Giants, and I think that Sam Darnold's going to be able to find some success as well over there, unfortunately. And DJ Moore, man, he just finds himself open, and he gets all those targets out there in Carolina.
He would have had a real nice week last week if he hadn't had some drops. That whole team did. Darnold would have looked way different last week against Minnesota if those wide receivers, they were dropping everything. I think Moore dropped a touchdown, Anderson dropped a touchdown, I think.
Yeah.
Going on to the running backs here. I know Henry's 11,000, but you can't pass the guy up right now. Like it's just you have to get him in your lineups, in my opinion, and everybody's gonna probably try to get him in there. But I think you can find some value later on, especially in a week like this where there's so many teams off that you can play him, especially one of the point getters. So I have Henry there at 11,000, and then I made the rest of the lineup first just to see what I needed to squeeze in there. I put in Edmonds. Looks like he hit the injury report with this, later here this week. But I like his receptions. I like his matchup this week against Houston. Was he getting 6 to 10 catches a game almost? I think 4 to 6 or something like that. I like him there. Other than that, Mixon looks like a decent play. Going back to that, that Panthers Giants game, Chuba, he might be a solid play if they actually run the ball. And then if Damian Harris is healthy, that's a good matchup against the Jets as well.
Yeah, so I'm actually staying away from Edmonds this weekend, and I'm actually gonna plug in Connor because Connor's a little bit cheaper. Yep. So you're gonna be able to get some gonna be able to get some other players that are a little bit more expensive if you swap them out. And obviously, in Arizona, what tends to happen when they're in the red zone, they go ahead and they hand the ball over to Connor. So I like Connor to get that to get some points and at the value that he's at. I like him in this play, and especially
I think that's fair. I think being a good switch. The other thing I look at, Khalil Herbert came on strong last week for the Bears. Tampa's hit or miss. Who knows what defense is showing up, but they're decent at stopping the run. So I like him too a little bit. Wide receivers, Marquise Brown. They've got a great matchup this week at Cincy, it seems. Bateman's back. Maybe that decreases Brown's receptions. And then I put in Waddle, 5,900. That's a steal after, what he get 10, almost 10 grabs last week or something like that. Tua seems to like him. And then Sterling Shepard, he's a target machine, and Tony's hurt. And maybe you can back him up. He's a giant. But yeah, I like Sterling a lot.
Yeah, he's gonna get a lot of targets out there in New York, especially with him being back healthy. I'm hoping that Daniel Jones is healthy as well. Obviously came off a concussion protocol, but Judge wasn't doing him any favors running him on a QB sneak on 3rd and 1. So I'm like, hey, the guy just came back from concussion protocol. Take it easy a little bit. But I think this is going to be a game where they're going to definitely want to go ahead and drop back and pass the ball. And like you said, he's a target machine out there in New York. So I like Shepard. I like that play there. And Waddle, just going back to their days in college, they both played at Alabama together. So I do like that combo with Tua, especially being back. You saw what Waddle was able to do this past Sunday when they played in London. Even though they lost the game, Waddle was able to do his thing. So I think it's going to be more of the same as long as Tua's in the lineup.
Yeah, I like it. Yep, tight end. It's a really rough week at tight end unless you want to spend a lot of money and play, one of the studs, which Andrews, Kels, I get it. I put Komet in there. Last week I think what did he finish with here? 4 catches, 49 yards. I don't know if Fields, looked at him a little more. He's out in the field for 79% of the time, had 5 targets. Tight end's just a really hard thing to grasp. So maybe your thought is to spend more money on the tight ends, I guess. I was going to go Ertz there. He's the other guy I was kind of looking at with his debut in Arizona. If he's out there on the field, that's the other guy I would look at in that spot. And then in flex, I kept another tight end, and maybe you just need to put him in at tight end instead and then find a different flex. But I put Pitts in at flex. Moving forward, I think, him and Ryan are going to establish a connection. We saw it in that London game. I think we're going to see Pitts moving forward, the guy that everybody thought he was going to be coming in. It takes those tight ends a little bit to get used to the game in the NFL, but I think we're going to start seeing that from Kyle Pitts, and he's only at 6,100 there at the flex spot, and I really like that.
Yeah. So I actually did the same thing on my lineup. I went ahead and I went 2 tight ends. As well, but I went kind of expensive on the tight end position. Mm-hmm. I went with Waller, and then I went very, very inexpensive on the flex, and I went with Tunyon. Tunyon on DraftKings is at 3,500. Let's see what Tunyon is on FanDuel, because I think you may be able to get him at a decent.
Yeah, he's at 51. Yep.
Okay, yes, he's at 51. So yeah, sometimes with that, just depending on what platform you're on, it's a little bit, it's a little bit the gap could be very, very, very small, very big, like in this case right here. But I definitely like the two tight end situation, especially this week with a lot of buys and everything. So this is where it gets interesting. Not only in fantasy, but also with a DFS. It gets really, really interesting when the bye weeks start kicking in. You got to really start making some hard decisions and see exactly who you want to go ahead and start and sit and go from there. But
Yeah,
I think
really come out.
Ertz. Yeah, I think Ertz is actually going to be a good play as well. I mean, he's in a high powered offense. I mean, you obviously know he could go ahead and produce at that tight end position, and I just think that with them having AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins out there, it's gonna create pretty much a lot of open targets for Ertz. So I like Ertz in Arizona.
Right, and we were seeing that from Max Williams of all people.
Right.
That guy, he's
Right.
been in the league for a while now. He's a Gopher, Minnesota Gopher, go Gophers. But it just felt like you get hurt every year, but then he got hurt again. But yeah, all of a sudden you're just like Max Williams, like what the heck, But yeah, that's the lineup. I picked I try to always go a little cheaper on the defenses, and they're a little kind of a rough choice this week. But I went with the Packers. If there was a week last week that that Washington's offense would have shined, it should have been last week against that Chiefs defense. And I think Green Bay at home, coming off a big win against the Bears, where Rodgers claimed that he owned them or whatever that was. I think they're gonna have another big week. They might shut the Redskins or Washington out. Sorry, not the Redskins, the Washington football team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Green Bay comes out and does something. I'm not a big fan of the Washington football team. They can at times put up points, but then again, at times they struggle to put up points. So we saw what happened last week in Kansas City. I thought that was going to be a high scoring game. It definitely wasn't. So I think that Green Bay can come out and have some success. With the Washington football team quarterback out there in Heineke.
Yeah, that game really screwed up my lineups last week. I had a lot of McLaurin, Heineke in places. Thankfully, I had Stafford and Prescott and a couple other lineups that helped me win some money to break even, but on FanDuel anyway. But yeah, so let's kick it over to DraftKings, where you got a lineup going there. Are you able to share, or do you want me to go from scratch and go through it?
Yeah, we could go. We could go from scratch, actually. Yeah,
Okay,
or
sure.
if you have
Pull up.
FanDuel open, yeah, we could go ahead and
Let's
build
move
something
over
there.
and I'll get into the contest here. I think this is the millionaire one. Yep. Go to draft from the start. Is that pretty visible on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually got it. So I got at quarterback, I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact that he's going to get
900 on there. Yep.
Yeah, 6,900. He's going to get you those points, and also with Las Vegas, they're going to come out and score a lot of points as well. So I think it's going to be not only a high scoring game, which is good for these DFS players when you go ahead and pick them, because they're going to go ahead and put a point. So Jalen Hurts is going to have going to give you a lot of points, not only in the air but also running the ball. So I like that. At running back, I like Henderson. I like Darrell Henderson for the Rams. He's gonna be a good one. He's at 6,600 right now, so that's pretty decent. He had a breakout game. They're going against Detroit. Detroit can't seem to stop anybody, so I'm gonna have I have a couple of shares of some Ram players here. So
yeah,
that's
a few. Yeah,
that's looking good. Same thing with I'm on the same boat as you are with Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry, I mean, obviously he's unstoppable. So anytime I see him I see him and he's healthy, or if he's playing, I gotta go ahead and pick him up if it's feasible. Obviously, this week he's kind of expensive. He's actually probably the most expensive running back, but
I think
gotta pick him. I mean, yeah, he got 3 touchdowns this thing on Monday Night Football against the Bills. He's unstoppable. I don't think that KC's defense is as good as the Bills defense, so he should have some success there. At the wide receiver spot now, we're gonna go with some value. But some good upside here. We're gonna go with Rashad Bateman.
Bateman. I went Marquise, and I almost went Bateman. I'm just like, man, and the targets were there last week.
The targets were there. My
3,400.
Yeah, my issue with Marquise is that he drops a lot of balls. So even though the targets are there, I mean, he just doesn't come through as much as he can if he holds on to a couple of those balls thrown his way. So gonna stay away from him. Next one is Van Jefferson Jr. He's at 3,500, and he's another Ram player. Again, they're going up against Detroit. I think that they're going to have some success out there. Stafford's going to be pretty hyped for that game, going up against the team that drafted him in the NFL. So I think that they're going to be pretty much throw the ball all over. I could see this game being high scoring on the Rams side, not so much on the Lions side, but I like that. And then DJ Moore. DJ Moore is at 7,100, but again, going up against my New York Giants football team, this is a guy that he's always being targeted throughout the game, and he is able to get some of those big plays down the field. So I like DJ Moore in this situation here. For the tight end position, Darren Waller. Darren Waller is at 6,700 for Las Vegas Raiders. He's somebody that going up against Philly, we've seen what Schultz, the tight end for the Cowboys, was able to do against Philadelphia when they played. I think it's going to be more of the same. But then obviously, Waller's not your typical tight end. I mean, he's more of a wide receiver in a tight end's body. So I like Waller in this matchup. Again, I think this is going to be a high scoring game. So I like going with Waller in this situation. And then for my flex, I'm going to go Tunyon. If we could get he's 3,500 on DraftKings. Obviously, there's a big disparity between DraftKings and FanDuel, but at this value, I do like him. If he's able to get a touchdown, that's going to definitely create a lot of value there with that 3,500 mark that he has.
It's kind of waiting for him to break out. And he's been getting a lot of criticism. But there's one of these games he's going to get 2 or 3 touchdowns. One of these games.
Yeah,
Rodgers
absolutely. Well, I'm hoping it's this game. I'm hoping it's this game. And then to wrap it up, we got Cardinals defense.
Okay.
Cardinals defense is going against Houston. I don't think Houston's good enough, good anyway. So I think that Arizona, we saw that they were able to have some success last week against the Browns. I think it's going to be more the same this week, and I like the matchup. I mean, Houston's not a good team, so I think that them going up against Houston, they're going to be able to hopefully create a turnover or two and get some points on that end, and also keep the score pretty low for the Houston Texans. So that's it, man. That's the lineup. I'm hoping it's a winning lineup. Got some good players on there. Obviously, we're looking at some value because we wanted to go ahead and mix in some players that are not as expensive, but may give you some of that upside and give you some of that value in their respective team's offense. So definitely like that there. But yeah, the combination between Waller and Tunyon, I really like that a lot.
Yeah, I was just looking at their quarterbacks here on DraftKings. I don't think I've entered a Sunday lineup yet, only some Thursday stuff. But Daniel Jones down at 5,400.
That may be a play. That may be a play.
Cousins tore them apart last week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That may be.
It'd be a gutsy call, but if it gives you a better, a wide receiver on any of these sites, I just kind of looked at that. I don't know. It might be a sneaky play. Maybe not. Maybe a terrible. Maybe it was like playing Heineke last week. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and enter that. If you win me $1 million, I'll give you some dollars, just like last night in the NBA.
Listen, man, something's better than nothing. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
We'll put that one in there. So that's good. Let's jump to some Thursday stuff. We'll just stay here on DraftKings for this one real quick. Let's see if I put one in already. I think I did. Yep. So we don't need to necessarily. Is that too small there? Oh no, you just move it up. Oops. There we go. All right. Can you see that?
A little bit. Okay, if you could just zoom in.
See if I can make this. Let's just go to let's just start it from scratch anyway. It's the NFL Showdown. All right. Captains this week, I think the two best option, in my opinion, would be Sutton. And then actually Peoples-Jones, even with Keenum out there, I think he's going to get a lot of targets from Keenum. It's hard to play a running back, in my opinion. I mean, you can play a running back, but not, maybe not in that spot. Obviously, Baker's out. Keenum's playing. What do you think? Where would you roll with your captain?
So I'm actually looking at Tim Patrick.
Okay, yep.
Tim Patrick, just for the simple fact he's going to get the targets. You also know that he could go ahead and pick you up a lot of receiving yards. I actually like him on his player props tomorrow. He's only at 45.5 on FanDuel Sportsbook, and probably more the same on DraftKings Sportsbook as well. But he had a couple of drops last week. I don't think that's not his game, and the games prior to last week, he has been able to get those receptions and pretty much do well. So I like him at the captain spot here, just for the simple fact that he's a lot less than Sutton. So you could go ahead and get and spend more money, spend some more of your salary on other players to get you the bigger bang for your buck.
Yeah. Do you what's your strategy with these? Do you do many of them? As far as the captain things and the
I do. I try to take advantage of the primetime games. I definitely do.
Gives you more reason to watch them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Listen, I as you know, like not only with fantasy and DFS, but I just like betting on the games and betting on player props. So I take advantage of everything. Got a lot of play now. Cleveland does have a lot of injuries, and I just think that due to that, and then also Denver's strong defense, they're going to be able to turn the ball over. You got Case Keenum starting for Cleveland. It is official. Baker is out. Baker is out for tomorrow, so you got him starting his first game. He is a backup, a decent backup, right? But he's not like, obviously not like a franchise quarterback or a quarterback that's that good to start for a team. So I think that they're going to be able to get a lot of 3 and outs and also turn the ball over out there in Cleveland, and that's going to provide them and give them more offensive touches for Denver Broncos. And so, I like
go ahead.
I like that I like that touch. Now we're gonna have to add some Cleveland players here, so may have to look at the tight end position for them.
Okay, were you going with
tight end position?
Yeah,
may have to go with Hooper here.
Okay, Njoku.
It's tricky. Njoku, he's another one. He's another one that has a couple of drop passes and frustrates me. Hooper's one of those players that is pretty much. What's the difference between Hooper and Njoku?
Yeah, Hooper was at 38. Where was Njoku? I just passed him. He's at 54.
Yeah, So,
and so they actually have Sutton cheaper than Patrick on here.
Interesting.
Let me unless they jack it up on you. Oh, never mind. Just kidding. Yeah, because they add the price on the captain spot. So no, he's significantly cheaper. Yeah. I was just looking at the wrong thing. Yeah. Are you playing Teddy? I mean, you've got to probably play quarterback, right?
If I'm playing a quarterback, I'm going to play Case Keenum. I'm going to play Case Keenum just for the simple. Yeah, I mean,
he's 9,400 on here. I was on this morning before the announcement was made about Baker, and I was making some FanDuel lineups, and he was $5,000 on FanDuel. Keenum was, so he's in all my lineups on there. Like, I'm like, that's just, you have to take advantage of that. But then it came down to the end, and it really, you're left over with a bunch of money because he is so cheap and everybody else is out, or the guys that you would want to play that cost a lot of money aren't you can't put them in there. So we got Patrick, Hooper, Keenum. What other Denver guy are we putting in there?
Javonte Williams, man. Listen, Javonte Williams, this is going to be
for him to break out.
I'm hoping this is the game where he takes over that starting running back position in that backfield in Denver. He needs to. So he had a decent week last week. receiving and rushing. So I'm hoping more of the same. And if he could just go ahead and pretty much just take over that role, that would be great. So he was the leading. He had the most rushing yards out of both him and Gordon last week. So I'm hoping for a breakout game, and he could go ahead and just solidify that starting running back position in Denver. So I like Williams in this spot.
Okay. Should we throw Sutton in too, or is 2 Denver receivers too?
Yeah. No, listen, they're gonna I like. Yeah. Let's go ahead and throw him in. We may have to throw in a receiver for. We
Peoples
may
Jones.
have to throw. Yeah. People Jones. I mean, you got OBJ. He's hurt. So again, I just think that for the value here, it's good. And how much? We got some. What's that?
There's still 2,000 left.
2,000 left.
But again, like it's just such a weird matchup and a combination of injuries and things that unless you want to throw Fant in there somewhere instead of Javonte or Hooper, well, the Hooper one that you couldn't do that, but I mean I still like that. That's still a solid. I played Javonte. I played him in a flex spot in some redraft leagues, but who knows? 2 touchdowns in a captain showdown gets you money. You know what I mean? A couple guys, I mean, even if he gets 15 carries only, but gets 70 yards on a touchdown, you're sitting pretty,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was Patrick F. Captain, Hooper, Keenum, Javonte, Sutton, Peoples Jones, which he had a really nice week last week. Again, Baker was throwing the ball, but we'll see. Keenum can throw. He led my Vikings to an NFC Championship game, but Minnesota Miracle, Minneapolis Miracle.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. So that's our Thursday night stuff. I think we'll just do the DraftKings one for now, just because it always is a little tougher because I think they add a spot and the prices are, a little different. Obviously, FanDuel is a little easier to squeeze guys in there, I feel like. But we're gonna take some time on a newer DFS site. We actually partner with them on the IDP Guys website. If you go to idpguys.org, you can click on any of the OwnersBox ads, and that'll take you to the OwnersBox website to enter some contests. Let me get them on the screen here real quick. Where'd we go? Have you used OwnersBox yet?
I haven't. This is going to be my first weekend using them, so I'm excited about that. Like I said, it's a rough week, man. We got a lot of buys. We got some teams on bye week, so it's going to be interesting. So I'm gonna probably crank out about 3 to 5 lineups on OwnersBox, but excited to use them. So
there's a lot of when you first get going, and each week even there's some free stuff. So if you notice right away, you can your first deposit, I think you get a $25 match or something like that when you go on there and put that in there. And then even if you refer friends, you get money, things like that. But every week there's code Drew9, Drew Brees, I think must be a part of OwnersBox, is a free $10 entry almost every week. You just go in there, you don't even need to make a deposit, I don't think. And then you put that in there, and the more you do, you collect, they're called OwnersBox, or if you refer people and that converts to money that you can use. But I'm pretty much living off of free entries and my just initial cheap deposit that I did.
That's it, man. That's what it's all about,
they do NBA,
man.
They do NHL, different styles. You can do head-to-head with somebody. If you go to idpguys.org, one of our writers named Aaron and myself have put out 2 different articles on the OwnersBox. Go ahead and check those out. Just to see the different contests and stuff like that. But let's jump into an NFL one here. So the prices aren't obviously as much right now, but the main one is their $10 entrance, which you can do a free right away when you get in there. But so the thing with OwnersBox is it's super flex. So if you look over here at the positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, flex, super flex. So you can play a second quarterback if you can fit him in there. No kickers, no defense, none of that stuff. Let's jump into a quarterback right away. Who we've gotten? I had Hurts. You had Hurts on yours, and should we have fun with it and throw Daniel Jones in there?
Why not, man? Let's throw Danny Dimes in there, man. Let's throw Danny Dimes. He's due for another big game. He's due for another big game. I like that.
So you start with 50,000, just like I think a few of the other ones.
Okay.
Then we got running backs. We stick to Henry, or should we change it up a little bit?
Yeah, let's change it up a bit. I actually
Okay.
like Joe Mixon this
Okay.
weekend.
Yep. That was another one I was looking at earlier. I'm like, yeah, that might be a pretty good play this week. All right. So then we got we have one running back covered. Another running back here.
Now, are you? What are your thoughts on Cordero Patterson?
Yeah, it's just so hard for me to think about him as a running back, and I don't know where they have him on here, if they even do. That's not a primetime game, right?
No. That's a main slate game.
He must be up here expensive or something. Oh, there he is. Yeah, let's try it. Let's put him in there. I know it's hard. I watched him for years in Minnesota, and they did gadget stuff with him. They let him run the ball. With a couple.
I just think that Robinson had a decent game against Miami, so I just think that it's going to be more of the same. I mean, just get him the ball. Go ahead and get him the ball.
I really like the Falcons this week. I think they're a solid play in any lineup. Most of their guys, I just think they're going to have a pretty good week. But then I say that, and then I'll do nothing. But anyway, so then you get to only only have to play 2 wide receivers, and everything else you're forced to play 3 because obviously these flex spots. Let's see. Let's throw Sterling back in there. I like that. I like him this week.
Yeah.
And then maybe let's go cheap. Let's go see what kind of value we can dig down here for.
You know who may be a decent player, and he may be cheap. He's right there. Nelson Aguilar. They're going up against the Jets. He has some. He has to redeem himself from the game last week. This could be. I mean, he's not expensive. I mean, at 4,700, it's not expensive at all. So I like Nelson Aguilar in this matchup. The Jets, they're giving up a lot of points, and I think that Nelson Aguilar could be that a sneaky play. And I think that what we saw in the Patriots going up against Dallas, this seems like they're starting to take the handcuffs off a little bit off of Mac Jones, and they're able to go ahead and throw the ball around. So I like Nelson.
Yeah, I agree.
Man. I mean, like I said, I mean, again, not an inexpensive play. The thing with these matchups with DFS is that sometimes you got to get a little bit different. You got to get a little bit of contrarian, especially if you want to go ahead and win, or even cash, right? Because if everybody has the same players, I mean, you're pretty much there. Bottlenecked when it comes to exactly. So it's we do this to come up top, right, and get that get that main the big prize money there. So I like Nelson Aguilar in this spot.
Yeah, and that's the thing with OwnersBox, because you're playing so many spots. When you realize once you start establishing your lineup, you get to that super flex spot, and you're like, oh man, I have like $3,000 left. So you have to play guys like that. So that's a good call out. And I remember last year it was a primetime game that it was a Raiders game. I was doing well, and then all of a sudden Carr went down, and Mariota came in, and there were people that had him in lineups. People that do 15, 30 lineups or whatever, so you do whatever. But those people won because all of a sudden Mariota's out there throwing and rushing for touchdowns. Tight end spot. Let's should we put Tanyan in there?
Yeah, let's see how much Tanyan is. I mean, like I said, the discrepancy, there was a big discrepancy from FanDuel to DraftKings, so I'd be interested
35.
to see what he's here. He's 35. Okay, yeah, 30. That's good. I mean, it's the same thing that they had him in DK. So okay,
yep.
All right, now like flex, we're gonna get how much here? We got
we have 17 left. Yeah, 17.4, $5,800 average. Okay. And that's you're starting to run into, you're already like, oh man. But what about Swift? I mean, the Lions offense.
So Swift is questionable. I probably would try to put Jamal Williams is also a good play there in Detroit. I'd probably go with Jamal Williams. Yeah, he's right over there.
Did I miss him? I must be down further.
Can you?
Yeah, I got him. 49. Yeah.
Okay.
You can probably search too. Yeah. All right. So there's Jamal. It gives us a little more flexibility here than when we get to these two spots, at least. So we have 12,500 left on there, 6,000 average. What about Antonio Brown?
I like Antonio. I like AB, man. I like AB. I'm all in on AB, and I just don't think that Chicago's going to be
able to do
anything with him.
Yeah, Brady's loving him over there. So let's move her down here. Quarterback options are not the best, obviously, so you're probably not going to do that. Yeah, Mac Jones, Heineke, Wentz. He's looked good, and this might be another good week for him. But
yeah, I'm actually high on. I'm actually high on Wentz for the simple fact that T.Y. Hilton's back. Over the last couple games, he's been, if you look at it, just his QB rating, he's been over 120. So I like that. Wentz not only for DFS but also for fantasy, he's a great pickup. May go with Carson Wentz, man. Let's see who else we got.
Put him in there. Let's have fun with it because it's super flex. Yeah. So let's. So then you can. So you've got your lineup. There's usually a spot that you can enter the code in or whatever. Right here. So you go to the center and you add the promo code. So let's just put that in there. Your 9. Buy it. Oh, I've already used it. So you can only use it once. That's good. Okay. We can't let you use it every week. Either way,
I'll definitely try to
But yeah, you can do that.
Drew 9 every week. Tonight. Yep. Okay, Drew 9. Okay, I like it.
And I'm pretty sure after I made my initial deposit, they sent me another one and said, "Hey, use this." So let's just slap that in there. I have some funds that are just sitting there in OwnersBox that last week. I don't know what it was. I thought I was out of it, and then all of a sudden I looked like 2 days ago. And I had won like $45 on here. And I'm like, oh, well, you just said my lineups. Didn't go back and check because it's all new,
Cool.
But yeah, so that's OwnersBox. Give it a try. If you want to go to the IDPguys.org website, check that out. New site, pretty slick. There's all sorts of things you can do on there. Check out our articles about it, summarizing different things. They have other sports you can do. Got a nice ticker up here with all the scores on games and things like that. Pretty slick to refer friends and things like that. Next thing I want to do, if we can, just to close us out, I'm going to swing over to Underdog. You want to do a rapid fire? I'll shoot you some pick'ems and you can go for it. That's your thing.
Pick'ems, yeah. Let's go ahead and do some pick'ems. Are we doing the main slate or are we doing tomorrow night?
What do you want to do?
We could go ahead and let's give the Thursday night. Let's give the Thursday night. This is going to be released on Thursday, so go ahead and get on the Thursday night here.
All right, I'm going to do all these. I'm just gonna throw them at you. And are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Teddy Bridgewater, 235.5 passing yards.
Over.
Melvin Gordon, 12.5 receiving yards.
Over.
Melvin Gordon, 44.5 rushing yards.
Over.
It's your boy, Javonte Williams, 67.5
over,
total yards.
Listen, over. I'm over on that as well.
Double it. Cortland Sutton, 68.5 receiving yards.
Over.
Okay. Tim Patrick, 43.5 receiving yards.
Over.
Oh, man, they're like the Rams, the greatest show on turf out here. Tim Patrick, 3.5 receptions.
I'm over on that as well.
Yeah, I like that one. Fant, 44.5 receiving yards.
Under.
Okay. I wish they had an even on here.
Yeah.
Case Keenum, 220.5 passing yards.
I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under that.
And then also Case Keenum, 0.5 interceptions.
Over.
Dearness Johnson, 60.5 rushing yards.
Under.
All right. That's the other thing I was going to ask. So,
Felton.
If you were to pick a Browns running back for tomorrow, would you go with Dearness or would you go with Felton?
I'm going with Felton. With Felton. We were able to see what he was able to do in the preseason. I think that he's going to be, especially they're going to share carries for the simple fact that Nick Chubb is out. Kareem Hunt is obviously out for a couple weeks, so it's going to be a shared backfield. I don't think, especially for the first game, both of them in. I don't think that it's going to be a situation where just one guy gets the majority of the other snaps. So I'd go with Felton here because Felton's going to be very, very low, not only in salary wise, but also just it's going to be a good pickup. I think he's like less than 3% rostered on fantasy. So yeah, go ahead, guys, pick him up. I think he's gonna be a good player, especially for like or just for the next couple of weeks until Nick Chubb could come back or Kareem Hunt comes back. But Felton definitely needs to be rostered on your team, and then also look out for him on your DFS lineups.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. If you're watching this, we should be here every week doing some DFS stuff. If you have any thoughts or, just throw them into the comments when we post this online. I'll put the OwnersBox link when we get this posted on Twitter or wherever else for you to go through that too as well. It's for an easier one. Will, do you want to remind everybody where they can find all your stuff and what you're up to throughout the fantasy sports here?
Absolutely. So doing some college stuff with Campus Canton, DFS, college football, DFS, NFL, as well with IDP Guys. We're doing a betting columns as well over there. Check me out at biasedopinions _ on Twitter, and just got some good things going. So definitely hit me up on Twitter. We're going to be doing this show, like I said, every single week. On Wednesday, going to be released on Thursday. It's the first show of many. So obviously want you guys to win some money, but we want to win some money as well. So check out OwnersBox as well. Get in that promo code, make some money. And then, obviously the goal is to deposit less than you withdraw.
That's right. Yep. Bankroll it. Yep. Yeah. And you can find my stuff. I'm on Twitter at Clinton Holmgren, also at idpguys.org. Write some dynasty stuff. I do a weekly article called the DFS Minute. Also put out a little short on YouTube with that. But yeah, you can see what lineups I set there, what other recommendations we have, things like that. The goal is to just give you some guys that are worth putting in your lineup, and hopefully take home some paper with that. But yeah, all right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.